Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
The regular season comes to an end for Kyle Whittingham and the Utes as they hit the road for a battle against Kansas. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time to talk some Utah football with the man who covers them. Go ahead, Christian.
Covering the Utes better than anyone else. This is Ute Insider Steve Bartle of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hello, Steve. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, fellas. How we doing?
I'm doing miserable, Steve. The College Football Playoff Committee ruins my week. Not really. I'm not that bothered by it. But how do you think Utah fans are actually treating this round of college football playoff rankings? And maybe not the last week, but just this year. Do Utah fans really feel like this is a team that should be in?
Yeah. I think Utah fans are really, really believe in this team. And obviously, you lose the two most important games on your schedule. That's tough, right? You lose to Texas Tech, you lose to BYU. And we know what that BYU means to this fan base and to the other fan base as well, just what it means to the state. But the way that Utah has been able to perform in the 9 other games, it's been really impressive. And I think with the way that they've been able to dominate, add a couple quality wins, against an Arizona State and against the Cincinnati and obviously Baylor, Kansas State haven't lived up to the preseason hype and expectations, but to add those 2 wins was pretty significant. And I think, Utah, had they done enough to, for sure have an opportunity at the playoff, I don't think any Utah fan feels like that, but I do think fans feel like this is a team that is worthy of a shot if they do get it. And I think with the talent on this team, that Utah would give the playoff a pretty good run for its money. And with the offense, the way that it's performed, and you've got some defensive issues that you're working through. Obviously, those things have to be addressed this week. But I think the fan base has really bought into this team and what they're about, and with Jason Beck coordinating the offense and having it humming on all cylinders. I think Utah fans would really embrace the opportunity, just like any other program, any other fan base, but would really buy into and believe that Utah is worthy of a playoff bid.
We talked to you about it really all season long, but before the season, the big story in my mind was going to be, how does Jason Beck's offense fit with Kyle Whittingham's philosophy? Because in the past, the fit between OC and head coach has been clunky. Excuse me. I think it's safe to say that Beck's offense works with the philosophy. So my question to you is, why has it worked so well?
Well, it's a perfect marriage of what Jason Beck has done, with his offense centered around the option run attack. And, with what Utah had in place with their offensive line, with the culture and brand of football that Kyle Whittingham wants, it really has been the perfect marriage of, scheme, personnel, and culture. And it's really allowed this run game to thrive. And when you have a dynamic quarterback like Utah does in Devin Dampier and in Bird Ficklin, he's added another dynamic element. And then you've got this rushing attack running behind this offensive line powered by 2 potential first-round draft picks. That's really, what's allowed it to thrive as much as it has. And it comes down to the players executing. And Dev has done a pretty good job throughout the season of executing what he's asked to and really elevating his level of play. All off season, the questions around Dampier centered around, is he going to be able to make the transition to the Big 12? How is he going to perform as a passer? And, early on it looked like Utah was playing it pretty safe with a lot of check down stuff, a lot of screens, a lot of things behind the line of scrimmage to sort of inflate that completion percentage. But I think that was all part of the building his confidence up, because now you look at his pass distribution and 23% of his attempts are going deep, and he just completed 4 deep passes against Kansas State. You go back to Baylor, there was a couple deep passes there as well, and he's starting to round out his game as a passer. Obviously, the numbers still don't speak to a highly prolific passing attack, but I think what I'm getting at is Dev has done a lot to improve his weaknesses as a passer to help provide balance, which has been the biggest key for this rushing attack, to preserve its efficiency and its explosiveness. Teams haven't been able to just load up against the run because Dev has done enough to make teams respect the passing game, and I think that's been really key. So there's a lot of things going into what's allowed this offense to thrive this season, but really it's just been a perfect marriage of schematics, personnel, and culture.
Do you think it will be replicable next season with Jason Beck at the helm, or do you think this has to do with the fact that they have 2 first-round draft picks on the offensive line? They've got 2 quarterbacks when generally most teams truly don't have one. How often are they going to be able to have a competitive or dangerous offense?
Yeah, I think this is replicable, right? As long as you've got a quarterback that you believe in. Bird Ficklin, right, he's obviously proven himself to be a pretty dynamic athlete and quarterback, right? We saw him get the start against Colorado, and he looked great. But, you go back to his recruiting profile, and it wasn't the most impressive. It's not like he was a huge, significant win. And what I'm saying is you can find dynamic quarterbacks at the high school level to come in and kind of fill that similar role. So, regardless of whether Utah brings back, both Dev and Bird or not, Utah is going to be able to keep recruiting dynamic quarterbacks to that position to keep it, to have that sort of presence beyond just your primary starter. But in terms, once you get past that quarterback spot, obviously the big question mark is going to center around the offensive line. And with Spencer Fano, he's a lock to be a first-round pick. I think everybody understands that. Everybody encourages him to go to the NFL. But with Caleb Lomu, it's not as sure a thing for him, being a first-round pick. And I think he's sort of in this position where, he's got really good draft stock where he's on the borderline. He's a French first-round draft pick. But if Utah and Caleb if he comes back next year, I think that would be a significant boost for the offensive line, because if he doesn't, you're going to have to replace all 5 starters. And that's a tall order, even for Jim Harding and what he's done with that offensive line group. He's recruited really well to build the depth and then hold on to the depth. So even though they're going to have to replace all 5 starters, they've had guys in that room for 2-3 years that have worked in the system, and I think there's obviously going to be a drop off, but they'll be able to pick up where this group left off in some sense. And if they can bring back Caleb Lomu, that's going to really allow that group to kind of get off to a good start, to allow this offense to continue to duplicate itself. Obviously, there's going to have to be some tweaks and adjustments as defenses count for it, and they get an off season to prepare for Beck's offense next year. But yeah, this is absolutely the sort of offense that you can repeat, that you can do year in and year out, as long as you continue to address your needs personnel-wise to fit what you want schematically.
Do they have enough dough to keep both quarterbacks? And if they do, is that a smart allocation of resources to invest that much at that position?
Yeah, that's been a hot topic for both quarterbacks. And from what I've gathered, I do believe that there will be enough money to keep both. But with that, you do have the question of, is that a truly good investment? We know that Utah could certainly use help at other positions. You're going to have to replace, like we said, offensive line. You probably want to have some money for an offensive lineman in the event that you have to replace Fano and Lomu, right? And so this is going to be an interesting storyline to follow is these two quarterbacks. And, obviously they clearly have a great relationship. They clearly work well together, and right now it's humming and it's clicking on all cylinders, and things are great. But we know the quarterback position and what it is, right? These guys are prideful. They're competitive. They want the spotlight. They want to be the guy. And so that's going to be kind of the big question in my eyes is can Utah, can Jason Beck convince these two to run it back for another year together? And will those two buy into a similar year like this year? Obviously, you're going to probably expand Bird's role even beyond what it's been this month. And that's going to be interesting. But there will be enough money for Utah to hold both if both decide that they want to come back.
What's going on with Kyle Whittingham? What was your read after the game? Obviously very emotional from Witt. How do you think that differed from what we'd seen in the past, and what do you expect to hear or see after this Kansas game?
Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure with Witt. Going back to his press conference Saturday night, just that emotion. I can't recall the last time I've seen him get choked up like that. Talking about Rice Eccles and the seniors getting their last opportunity. It was kind of a unique sequence there of what he was talking about and when the emotion hit. And I think, it's very easy to read into that. And, so I think we're kind of in this interesting place because I've had a lot of conversations lately, and, there's still a pretty strong belief that Kyle doesn't necessarily want to hang it up, that he wants to come back for another year. Hut there's been this long-standing understanding, like we know where Kyle is at and in his career, and he's talked about not wanting to coach forever. And last year he talked about not wanting to leave the program on such a sour note. He couldn't go out last year on a 5-7 record that included a 7-game losing streak. So we know that he wants to leave the program in better shape than what we thought he would last year, right? And I think it's going to be interesting. I don't anticipate this sort of thing lingering for too long. If you remember last year, we got an announcement that he was coming back, I think midway through December. I would anticipate probably something pretty similar to this year. But yeah, as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, you're starting to hear more and more chatter from both ends of the spectrum of, Kyle retiring or Kyle coming back. And it's just, we'll have to wait and see. But I would anticipate that we see something, in the next couple of weeks that kind of that obviously makes it known what his plans are for next year.
All right, Steve, I'm going to give you a number, and I want you to guess what this number is. Okay?
It's a phone number.
No.
Oh.
It's a 3-digit number. All right. 227. Any idea?
227. Ooh, no idea.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's kind of a random number. It is the Ken Pom ranking of Cal Poly after beating Utah. What?
Yeah.
I mean, Grand Canyon. I looked up their Ken Pom. It's like 94. I mean, Grand Canyon.
Yep.
They're a good
decent basketball program.
It's a good program. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cal Poly is not.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what can we expect from this college basketball season, Steve?
Well, looks like we've talked about it, right? This is a complete tear down to the studs type of rebuild for Alex Jensen. I just don't think we realized how far down into those studs Alex Jensen and this program we're going to be starting from. This is starting from ground zero and having to build it, all the way up. This is going to be a process. And watching the team last night taking on Grand Canyon, it's obviously Grand Canyon, very good program. They've had a lot of success. They just accepted a bid to transition to the Mountain West Conference, which is a very competitive basketball league in its own right. But we know that that the Big 12 is just a whole nother beast. and watching this team struggle against a Grand Canyon team that honestly looked bigger, looked more athletic, and just played, more sound on both ends of the floor. It's really discouraging to see this from Utah and Alex Jensen, and with that, Alex has made it clear that this is going to be a process, that his focus is on being better at the end of the season, and that's going to be his goal, and his mentality all year long is improvement. And so I think, I didn't anticipate it being this rough to start. Utah's got a lot of things that they've got to clean up and tighten up, specifically on that defensive side of the floor. But this is going to be a long year, and I do know that Utah and Alex still have the resources, going into next off season, which is crazy. We're 7 games in, and I'm already talking about what's on the horizon for next off season. But I know that Alex, he's going to have the resources to add to this roster some more significant pieces to help kind of build this team out. And this has sort of been the idea, the plan for Alex, is to get in year one, lay the foundation of his brand, his culture, his identity, and then build on it from there. But yeah, this is I think we're in for a pretty long season for running Utes hoops.
Steve, thank you very much. What's your Thanksgiving plan? Are you traveling today, or are you leaving tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't leave tomorrow. The game's at 10.
Well,
Friday.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I was. You leaving tomorrow or Friday? You couldn't leave Friday.
Yeah. I'm actually leaving tonight, so I didn't get to book my flight till later, and that was all they had. So I've got a Wednesday night flight. So we're prepping a little mini Thanksgiving dinner, me, Kendra, and Miles. I've got the turkey on the smoker, and we'll have some light fixings and stuff, and then I'll be on my flight, and I'll find somewhere to eat in Kansas City tomorrow. And then we've got the game Friday, and that's going to be certainly an interesting one for sure.
In all seriousness, the league sending Utah on the road 2 years in a row to play a Friday game after Thanksgiving is garbage. Like, it's garbage for the players and the staff and everybody. That sucks.
Yep, it's pretty tough. It's not fun leaving the family behind on Thanksgiving week. It sucks. But, this is the business we chose.
Indeed it is. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep, appreciate you guys.
All right, there you go. Steve Bartle, our good friend, covers the Utes for KSLSports.com.
He owed us 2 of those.
All right, stay tuned. Jake and Ben. Let's give away some tickets. It is a Wednesday, after all. Win Ticket Wednesday, caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. We're hooking you up with 2 tickets to go see Nate Bargatze, which I said Bargatze yesterday, but I heard on the ad Bargatze, so I'm going with that. The Big Dumb Eyes Tour at Delta Center, December 4th through the 6th. Tickets on sale now at SeatGeek.com, or simply be the 12th caller, 801-575-ZONE.
I disagree with a lot of what Steve said.
In regards to?
Well, maybe the approach to Utah basketball. I don't think you can rebuild anything.
In college basketball, not really.
There's no reason to rebuild. And Steve's not saying that. Steve's saying that's what the approach is being taken by Alex Jensen. I don't know if that's what you need to do. In fact, I wonder if it's the opposite. You need to be as flashy as quickly as possible, and then hope that creates a culture of flashiness, a la Deion Sanders in Colorado. Now, that didn't work for Deion at Colorado, but I do think you need to rebuild a little bit more in college football than you do basketball, certainly.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have What You Got Wednesday coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. It's a Black Friday showdown for the Aggies as they welcome in Boise State to Logan. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Let's lock in.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What you got Wednesday? What's the deal? Jake's got rules, Ben's out to steal. Bozo takes their spinning around. Flush it down, flush it down. pro skater Ben with a devious grin.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time for What You Got Wednesday. If you're new to the show, Ben and I go head-to-head every Wednesday on 2 5-selection drafts, one sports-related, one not, and then we put it out to the listeners for a vote. How'd it go last week, Christian?
Last week, future faces of sports. Jake won a close one, 55-45, and then best MTV stars. Ben won 82-18.
I'm shocked on the MTV stars. I think I went too girly on the TV stars.
You just went too real. You're like a real head. That's not good. Nobody knows who those people are. Everyone knows who Johnny Knoxville is. You were like, no, my favorite VJ from the third season. It wasn't the two main ones. It was the third. It was the alternate, the weekend guy.
I didn't do that. I didn't go that deep.
You kind of did.
Well, I went for accuracy.
Too authentic.
I didn't know my.
You drafted with your heart.
I didn't know my audience. Well, yeah, that was a topic I'm passionate about. MTV stars from the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my jam. I always liked the real world. Let's see. I'm trying to bring it up right now because I can't remember who I picked. Everybody knows who CT is, right?
No, nobody knows who CT is.
Well, he's the obvious number one pick is what he is. All right. What is today's sports-related topic?
Sports-related today, let's go with teams that you just know will never get off the mat.
Bad teams that we project will stay bad forever.
Yeah. Who's got the number one pick? Sorry, I was doing stuff.
Ben has the number one pick.
Oh, okay. Is there an obvious number one choice?
I think so.
You do. I am going to go with the team that the Jazz are playing on Friday. I'm going with the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, they're up there. They're not the answer, though.
I just don't have faith in the ownership, in the culture. The fans are good, which is too bad. But again, it's been 25 years since they've done anything relevant. The last thing you remember about them playing well, which was the loss to the Lakers in the conference finals, where they probably got cheated out of a finals berth, is the last time they did anything relevant. Sacramento Kings.
Jets.
Yeah.
Jets. They will never get off the mat.
Probably right.
I know you're a big fan of old Woodrow Johnson, but they're allergic to correct decisions. The Jets. I don't even know if. Well, we can talk about it later.
I think that's very fair. Yeah, Jets are a good choice. It's got to be those two. I think are the most pathetic in their leagues.
I don't know if I agree, but we can talk about that in a minute.
All right. I will go with the next team. I hate to go too heavy on basketball right away, but I'm going to go with the Hornets. I do think the Hornets are dastardly and probably stuck in mediocrity for the foreseeable future, regardless of the fact that I think they did draft the Rookie of the Year in Con Knipple with a very good pick.
I still don't think I'll pick my NBA team here that I think is actually the answer in the NBA. The Hornets at least have a fan base. They
do.
At least have like a support system, and they have a new ownership that could be better. But I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards, which I think is the answer in the NBA. I mean, terrible ownership, no fan support, can't make the right decisions, just can't do it.
No, you're right.
They're dreadful again this year.
They're worse. They're probably the worst team in the NBA this year, and not artificially. They did win last night, and CJ McCollum had a huge game. But yeah, that's a problem.
Who's their owner? Leonidas? Isn't that guy's name?
Yeah.
Bozo Central.
I think he's still the owner, unless
The guy from 300.
Yeah.
No, it's like Ted Leonidas.
Ted Leonidas.
I think Bozo Central.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think you're right on. All right, I'm gonna go with. Is Lloyd in there? The Raiders.
The Raiders will never get off the mat.
I kind of don't know if they're going to.
That might be about ownership too.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark Davis. You know what? But they have an advantage being in Vegas.
And
if they could play their advantage being in Vegas, they could get off the mat.
And they're kind of cool. It's kind of a cool idea that the Raiders are, have the history that they do and have once been very successful. That conceivably somebody could go back there and say, "Yeah, I want to be a part of it," but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, next, this one actually is a little different take. I mean, not just kind of a bozo franchise, but they actually have built-in geographic disadvantage. I'm going to go with the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, that's tough.
They have never figured out how to have a pitching staff at that altitude with that ballpark that was built in the period where they were building super tiny ballparks because everybody wanted to see more home run balls. And it turns out that really works against them because no pitcher in their right mind wants to pitch in Colorado and have on the back of their baseball card just a dreadful season because they can't keep the ball in the park.
They made one World Series. It's never going to happen again. No, it's really
They were good
bizarre.
at their inception. They had all these mashers, and then they haven't really been able to do anything else. And the Troy Tulowitzki World Series was a fluke if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. There's a lot of teams because there's a lot of truly horrendous franchises, and I hate to do it to myself, but I'm going to go with the Chicago White Sox. Again, because they have truly the worst ownership in baseball, or some of the worst ownership in baseball with Jerry Reinsdorf. So I'm going to go with my own Chicago White Sox. I know people don't care about baseball here locally. Like 2017, they had arguably the most talented team in baseball, and all the guys were 21 years old. I think they made one playoff appearance, blew it up, didn't get anything back. They're a disaster, the Chicago White Sox. I don't have a lot of faith that they're ever going to win another World Series in my lifetime, despite the fact that I did get to watch them win one.
All right, Ben, I'm going to stay baseball, and I'm actually going to go with the franchise that came into Major League Baseball with the Colorado Rockies, and I'm going to go with the Miami Marlins. And the reason I don't see them ever getting off the map is because of the way that Bruce Sherman, their current owner, bought the team. Because the previous ownership group, remember, Ben, they invested for one season when they built their new stadium in order to make it an attractive sale.
Uh-huh.
They sold it to this guy, Bruce Sherman, for $1.2 billion, and now he can't afford to field the team.
Yep.
So they're not getting off the bat anytime soon.
It's too bad, because it is a potentially cool team in a cool city that could do way more than they do, but for some reason they just don't seem to care that much. It's about the flashiness of owning the team, not the seriousness of trying to win. All right, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns. Wrap it up.
Never going to get off the
I
map.
don't think the Browns are going to. I think they've blown it so many times that I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to be able to figure it out.
Man, I really wish I could.
Great defense. They're a quarterback away, but that's always the case. So,
Let's see. All right. I'm going to go, Ben, with the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
Probably will not give me any votes, but that's kind of part of the point. Crappy stadium,
yeah, they do have a new one coming.
crappy ownership.
Can't fix that.
Even when they had a good coach in Mike Vrabel, they were bad. They had Mike Vrabel and the best running back in the NFL, and they still sucked. And the best receiver at one point. Remember A.J. Brown before they traded him?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Recap.
It's Ben's favorite team, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's my favorite team. Hey,
Ben-
I got to see the Rams this year and starting to think that might be a Super Bowl team.
Ben had the number one pick. You went Sacramento Kings, Charlotte Hornets, Las Vegas Raiders, Chicago White Sox, and the Cleveland Browns. Jake went New York Jets, Washington Wizards, Colorado Rockies, Miami Marlins, and the Tennessee Titans.
Who do we miss?
You're making me nauseous reading all of those names off.
it is. It's weird to look down and be like, oh, yeah, each one of those teams might be worse than the last.
I wish I could have picked the Phoenix Coyotes or Arizona Coyotes
yeah,
or whatever
the
they.
Coyotes. Yeah.
I mean, they were the hockey team that was never going to get.
the
off
fact
the
that
map.
neither of us picked the Clippers is crazy. The Padres.
Well, the Padres are good.
The Orioles.
So, the Padres have a nice stadium and are actually a good team. Did they make the wild card last year or?
Again, that's
They were
what-
close.
that's the basis. Did they make the wild card?
Yeah, they got Manny Machado.
You could have gone Chargers in a way. I mean, they're always going to Charger. Like,
Yeah,
that is a verb.
Define your ability to, quote, get off the mat. You
Yeah.
know, the Mariners made the ALCS.
They were in the World Series just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
The Mariners, no. But, yeah, they just... How good can you actually get?
I don't think the Mariners have ever been to the World Series.
Yeah, I think that's one of their things.
All right, what's our not
Or
sports?
did they beat the Yankees in the ALCS and got to the World Series and then didn't win? Is that the Griffey slide?
No,
Neither here nor there.
that was in the division.
That
was
was to get
wasn't
to the
even.
ALCS.
Yeah.
See, what are we looking at here?
All right.
I missed what inspired this, but this
Jazz-
is
this. Okay.
this is what we're gonna go with. Most famous moms.
Notorious Moms.
Okay,
I don't think
Notorious
it
Moms.
doesn't have to be like there are famous women that are moms, but they are not famous for being a mom. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Notorious Moms, inspired by Christian McCaffrey's mom, who was videotaped twerking at the 49ers.
The funny thing is, you said this, and Christian said, "Oh, it wasn't that Pavia's mom from what's his name?
Vanderbilt.
From Vandy, because she was out dancing and is now apparently dating Theo Vaughn."
Oh yeah.
So, some rough moms out there.
But it could be notorious in a good way. I have moms on my list that are notorious in a good way.
Okay.
Well, Jake, you have the number one.
Do you have an eraser? Can I steal an eraser from you?
Sure.
Also, give me a few minutes to do a little more research here. Thank you.
Is there an automatic number one pick?
I
don't think there is, by the way.
No. I think there's probably some obvious names that people are leaning towards.
Notorious Moms.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go with, Ben, Gloria James.
LeBron's mom.
LeBron's mom out there slapping valets. Gloria James. Even a notorious story about her and one of LeBron's teammates, which may or may not have cost Cleveland a playoff series.
Delonte West? He's not doing great. Poor Delonte.
No, that's a really sad story,
Yeah.
but Gloria James.
I'm going to go with the lowest hanging fruit, even though she's not been in the news for a while. It's just hard to not have a list that has Lisa Wilson on it. Shout out Lisa.
I didn't think you were going to pick Lisa. She would have, if I known you were going to pick Lisa, she would have been my number one pick. She's who I really want.
Locally, that's the most infamous mom of all time. Right?
Oh, I think so. Well,
yeah, it has to be.
We could think about that. All right, Ben, I'm going to go with simply Mary. The Virgin Mary.
Oh. All right. Just the season.
Very notorious mom.
Yeah, notorious good. Notoriously good
Yeah,
mom.
notorious doesn't have to be bad. No, notorious.
Miraculous.
Like, she's got to be the most notorious mom.
Okay.
Famous really only for being a mom.
Okay. I got to rethink this because I can't go with the craziest pick after you take Jesus'
You should have
mother,
saved that for
Mary.
last, or like took her first or something.
I don't know. Ben stole my Lisa Wilson, so I gotta jump on it.
I'm going to go with... Oh, man. I'll go with the Queen Mother, which is Elizabeth I, who was alive for like 100 years, right? And she was quite old when she passed away. So I'll go with Elizabeth
You're talking
I.
about the one like Sir Walter Raleigh Elizabeth,
No,
or like
Queen Elizabeth II, who just died a couple
okay,
years ago.
you
Her
said
mom.
the first.
No, her
oh,
mom.
her mom.
You know what? I'll just go with Queen Elizabeth II. I'll go with Queen Elizabeth II, because I do think that's going to get me more. Give me more votes. Queen. I'm going to put Liz. 2. Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
Her mom's the one though that like everything's about.
Now I went with the Virgin Mary with number 2. I'm going to go the complete opposite because there's no way this woman isn't associated with the devil. Kris Jenner.
It's Chris with a K, yeah.
I don't know. I saw her once though.
You saw her.
Yeah, skiing in Aspen.
Oh, okay. How was it?
How was? She wore a fine one piece. What do you mean? How was it? Saw her
Was she a
from-
good skier?
No, I saw her in the lift line.
Did she fall off?
No, but it was. I guess it was a gondola, so it would be kind of hard to fall off.
Yeah, she's low key like a mob boss, right?
But
She's got this family that she kind of runs everything, and all these people.
She's
all
made
this
herself and
money
her kids
millions
into-
and billionaires.
Into billionaires, yeah.
Okay, you've taken this in a slightly different direction than I was going to go, so I'm going to adjust. I'm going to go with. Give me the mom from the Goonies, the mean lady.
The
Mom Fratelli.
So we're going with fictional moms? I don't know. I think we got to go with real moms.
Why?
What do you mean why? We're talking about Notorious Moms.
Not,
not fictional TV characters. We're
we
talking
didn't
about
lay
humans.
out these rules before the game.
That's not a real person.
Oh my gosh. All right.
You know what? I'm going to step in. I think I agree.
Real moms?
Yeah,
Not
let's keep
fictional
it real.
moms.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to get into it because we could. All right, I'm not going to get into it. I'll go with Marie Antoinette. Not really famous for being
Yeah,
a mom.
is she a mom?
But I had like 4 kids. But anytime your mom gets her head cut off, not great. Well, I've had to throw out my whole board now, so I'm going to have to scramble here just a little bit.
I think we've done fictional moms in the past.
Have we? Well, regardless. Well, yeah, now they're all off the board, so I'm going to have to adjust my my approach here.
I'm going to go with the real energy behind one of America's most notorious families, Barbara Bush.
I was just going to go Barbara Bush. Interesting you went there.
Mom of a president and a governor. And always kind of had that warm mom vibe to her.
She did. She's like the classic old lady, right? She always had curly white hair. Barbara Bush. All right, I'll go with Mary Todd Lincoln, who actually being a mom ended up being a central part of her story because they lost their son, and it led to a huge falling out between Mary Todd and old Abe Lincoln.
My final one, Ben. Octomom. Her real name is Natalie Suleman, but everyone knows her as the Octomom, who gave birth to the world's first surviving set of octuplets in 2009. And she was already a mom to 6 kids. That's a lot.
All right, I'm going to go with the worst mom of all time, Ava Braun.
Was she a mom?
Yeah, she famously killed her children with Hitler in the bunker.
I think it was someone else who killed all the kids. Wasn't it Goebbels?
Regardless, wasn't great. Did they not? I thought they had children.
They did not.
They did not have children?
They weren't even married.
Oh, my gosh. They got married and then they killed themselves, right?
Ava Braun did not have
Oh,
children.
my gosh. Pull it off the list. Good, I didn't want her on my list anyways. Worst moms. Oh, jeez.
Notorious moms.
Notorious moms. Oh, man. I'm not prepared for this. I will go with... Man, I'm not game. I've already lost this because you threw a wrinkle in. I'll go Ed Gein's mom, who he famously murdered and kind of turned him into the serial killer that he became. Ed Gein,
rough.
mom. Yeah, it's not great.
That's rough. All right.
Sorry to be on the same list as Lisa Wilson.
Review.
But I was not thinking I was going to have to go all real moms.
Jake had the number 1 pick. He went Gloria James, the Virgin Mary, Kris Jenner, Barbara Bush, and Octomom. Ben went Lisa Wilson, Queen Elizabeth II, Marie Antoinette, Mary Todd Lincoln, and Ed Gaines's mom.
I don't think of Mary Todd Lincoln as a mom.
Her whole thing is like that Lincoln let their son die.
I remember.
And she lost her mind.
No, I know she was a mom.
Rightfully so.
Who was the mom who, convinced her daughter that she was sick, and then the daughter killed her and just got out of jail?
Oh, yeah.
Forgetting her name.
Yeah, I forgot her name. There was the Hulu show about it.
That's a real downer. All right, stay
Happy
tuned.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Wrapping it up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than this as the Cougars look to earn a spot in the Big 12 title game as they take on UCF in Provo. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two niggas on the airways, talking sports. They got it made Jake's and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We went way long with What You Got Wednesday. We've got Bill Armstrong coming up next on Hans and Scotty. So we got to get out of here. Enjoy everybody's Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with the family and, of course, the football. Christian, what time we're doing Friday before the Ute game? They're going to have DJ and PK and the pregame show as well. So make sure and tune in for that. Happy Thanksgiving, Ben.
Be safe.
All right. Hans and Scotty G are next.
Thanks,
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.